Imagine The Sopranos meets The Birdcage. An introverted, bungling gay adolescent inherits a Jewish mafia empire after his father's assassination. Bullets fly and houses explode when he joins forces with his no-nonsense aunt and gorgeous hunk of a boyfriend in a battle against his toxic mother and the Philadelphia mob boss over control of the empire's millions. This is A New Dawn. Stay tuned. So hello, Karl. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Regina.
It's so good to have you. Really.
Thank you so much.
And I have to say, it has been truly amazing to tap into this book and the story that it tells. I mean, it's quite intriguing. Now, again, as I've already said, you haven't written it, but who did? Tell us a little bit about him.
My husband, James Worley, wrote the book many years ago. Actually, it didn't really come to birth until I came along. He'd been writing it for like 10 years.
Oh, wow.
And it really hadn't gelled. And then when we got together, I told him, just write it like you know what you're writing about. Don't write these far off places. Mm-hmm. Write what you know about. And then it really came to be. And then that's when we finally came down to the product or book that we have here today, A New Dawn.
A New Dawn. So this is actually based on reality. This is not just all fiction, or is it a combination?
There is a little bit. There is a little bit of truth to the fiction. Jim was very well known back in Philadelphia. He did know some mafia bosses back then. Mm-hmm. So there are some characters that true to life that's based on.
Okay.
And
and we'll leave it at that.
We'll leave it at that. Yes.
So that's really, that's pretty exciting, obviously, because so much happens in this book. Just the cover alone, and we'll get a nice little close-up on this cover, but it has the sign here, Rosen and Sons, Rosen and Sons, and all sorts of things. You see the limo, the back alley.
It's total Philadelphia. It's got the,
it really is, right?
It's got the limo, that's very distinctive of Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Philadelphia in the background. It is just smoldering with the essence of Philadelphia.
I love it. I love that word, smoldering. And it is.
It is. It does smolder. And it does blow up.
A lot.
A lot.
So that really is quite a combo to have The Sopranos, which we all know was really high drama, high violence, really intense. Mm-hmm. But then it has the touchings of The Birdcage.
Well, Jim had a sense of humor. It could be very dark at times, could be just boisterous, and it does come out in the book, and hopefully the movie.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. But yeah, and that weaves it throughout. There's jokes throughout, and it has that Philadelphia sense of humor in it that one can pick up on, and we all enjoy, and makes us, just laugh out loud, and some of us kind of, cringe at some of the things that do happen in the book. And in our story, and just wonderful story that combines, the essence of the mafia and the essence, just the hilarity of the Birdcage.
Yes, the Birdcage, which, as we all know, was completely hilarious. Robin Williams and all of those, wonderful scenes between them, and the whole gay issue, which is really also woven throughout this story, is it not?
Yes, well, in the mafia today, you can't be gay and be in the mafia. So that was a great controversy, is to have this young man who's just discovering he's gay, and, meets the love of his life. And now his father's been murdered, and now he has to take over the family business. And when we say family, we do mean family.
Family.
Business.
Like mafia family business.
Mafia family business.
Wow. So the least candidate they would ever want to have running the business.
Never be chosen for it.
Yeah.
If he wasn't born into it, we never have gotten to it. And that ends to some of the comedy in that, this young, just gawky young man taking over this big multi-million family business, this empire of a business, and the different businesses that they do have with it, and just combine that with people trying to kill him, after his father was killed. and see who his alliances are, with his aunt that you mentioned in the book.
Yes, yes.
His aunt really sticks by him, and as you say, I think you mentioned that. You didn't mention...
But we don't want to give too much away.
Too much.
We don't want to give too much away.
Too much away.
So when we come back, I want to explore not only more of the story and this amazing book, yes, also the possibility of movie, but I want to go a little deeper into your story with James and how really that even came about. Because again, you are now the carrier of this story into the world so that more people can really hear the story. So we'll explore more of that when we come right back. And we are back here with Karl Kulick, and we're discussing A New Dawn, the book written by the late James Worley. So Karl, tell us a little bit about the two of you and how you came together. And we already know you were really instrumental in him finally getting this work out into the world, but tell us how you even got there.
Jim and I had met at a local festival called the Rainbow Festival here in Phoenix. Actually, a friend introduced us. I didn't know him from Adam.
Okay. Literally.
Adam, literally, or figuratively. And I had just moved back, actually from Philadelphia, which kind of connected us, because that was kind of a common ground that we could build upon. So he and I started talking and found about my living not too far from where his family actually lived.
Oh, wow.
And then that built upon, and we just kind of felt something special that day. We'd spent some time just singing and dancing and having a great time that day. That just something felt a little special about us getting together that day. And I can just remember the look on his face when he was leaving with some other friends, and just like I could see it on his face too that he's, I think I met
the one.
The one.
Nice.
So we did eventually start dating regularly, and within a few months, I proposed.
Oh, nice! Wow.
Yeah.
I love
We had gotten along very well. We had a lot of common interests. As I said, I lived in Philadelphia. His family isn't from Philadelphia. In fact, they founded Philadelphia.
Really?
As you can see, James Worley was his given name. As you can see, he took the name Livesey, which was his ancestral name, and of course my last name, and combined them all together into his pen name. And the Livesey family is very well known. They actually came over, oh my gosh, way back. They had their own boat. They didn't have to use the Mayflower.
Oh, wow.
They had their own shipping lines.
Wow.
So they came back over in the 1600s as well, and they founded Philadelphia. So he has a long history of the within the Philadelphia area. And his, I think it was another one of his great-grandfathers actually founded the Philadelphia Hospital. That's very well known there. And so a lot of, if you go back to the Philadelphia area, or if you're from the Philadelphia area, you might recognize the Livesey name or a lot of the family names associated with that. The Blair family, there is part of the family. His mother was actually, his great-grandmother was actually a Blair.
Oh, wow.
So we do have that combination of all those different families, and well settled in Philadelphia area.
Okay, so that he's really a part of the history, the very fabric of Philadelphia.
Yes, the net, the very soul of Philadelphia. And that's why I think the book came alive for him and for all of us, because it does draw on that Philadelphia essence and that vigor that really just inspire people.
That's really fascinating because, as many know, that's where I grew up. And I wasn't born there, but I grew up there, and there is so much rich history, and there are places that are very distinctive in and around the Philadelphia area, and some of those are indeed in the book, correct?
They are. A lot of historic land sites that you do see in Philadelphia, if you ever visited there, most notably a lot of with Ben Franklin, because his family did know Ben Franklin.
Wow.
They did know that.
Wow.
When they talk about Mr. Franklin enjoying wine frequently, as they say, it was actually Livesey wine. So Livseys were very famous. They were famous for the mill. They had created a mill there. They founded the town. They outlaid it. They were very prominent in the Quaker religion. So if you do visit, Very big. And if you do visit a lot of the Quaker landmarks, you'll see the Lizzie names on those, especially in Germantown.
Yes.
So it's very instilled very deep roots in the Philadelphia area, so it made it natural. And that's why I encourage him to write about Philadelphia. What you know about.
What you already know.
You're from there, so write about it.
And indeed he did. It comes out throughout here so very much. And as you already spoke about, there are lots of things that are quite true, and then there are lots of things that are just wonderfully brought together by James. And did he include anything of your story? Was there something of your story or his own personal story growing up in there?
The main character, Joe, is really Jim.
Ah.
The gawky teenager. Jim was amazing. He couldn't walk a straight line if somebody let him down. Not happening. No, couldn't walk in flats. Never could. And just very exciting, very vibrant, exciting person. Very much.
Yeah. He was very talented though too, right?
Very talented, very musically gifted. He sang in the. He's an opera singer.
Mm-hmm.
He did sing in the Philadelphia area. And very many. Chestnut Hill Symphony, I think, is one of the places where he was most known for. He sung at the Met.
Oh wow.
Yes.
Oh wow.
And some of the very famous names from that era, I can't remember them all right now. But some very famous, sung with the leading baritones at the Met, and some very well-known other opera singers. In fact,
that's how we connected very
Exactly.
much. We would sing together, and it was just such a joy and a pleasure singing with him.
And to hear the beautiful two of them sing, the two angels, it was amazing. I just fell in love with her immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And as you said, where do I come in the book?
Yeah.
Actually, I'm Brad.
We want to keep people guessing. We're going to hold that one. We're going to keep that little tidbit, and we'll come back. We're going to drop that little dime on that. That's really good. So we'll get to see and guess who Karl is in the book. So that's great that you're in here. I love that. That's really fantastic. And did you know that when he was writing it?
No. I don't think he really couldn't put it together. He didn't have that love in his life that he could really finish the book.
Yeah.
It is a story that revolves around love, and he really didn't have that love in his life till I had come along. So it really helped develop the book and develop the core structure in the story. And that's something that really comes out in the book, and there's various scenes in there that we won't talk about.
You'll just have to see them.
See the movie or read the book.
Exactly. And I love that point, that indeed it took the love that you two shared to bring out this work in its fullness into the world. So I think that's so much what's common for many artistic people, for creative people, is to finally have that love.
And it's that love that carries on today. That's what's bringing us here to you today, is to go ahead and share our story, and with all the other attractions and to make it very interesting, all the action around the mafia, but the center core of it is our love.
Yeah, and very much a message of love can conquer all. Even the bullets, even the explosions, and even hatred and bigotry and so forth. And it's truly a message that is needed today. So when we come back, Karl, I want us to we're going to answer that question for sure of who you are in the book, but then we're also going to find out what's next for this story, A New Dawn, and get a little bit into the future of the story. All right, we'll do that when we come right back. And we are back with Karl Kulick speaking about the book, A New Dawn. So, Karl, I love this book, and we kind of spoke about it a little bit before, that you are indeed in this book.
I am.
And so, we won't keep everyone waiting much longer. What character is modeled after you?
Brad.
Ooh, Brad.
Joe's love interest.
The love of his life.
The love of his life.
So when I was speaking about that gorgeous hunk, That was you.
It was.
Oh,
It is.
it is indeed. I love it. And I tell you, this book it's so delicious, folks. I mean, we have chapters like Date Night at Club Dread. Can't beat that, right?
Mhm.
We have Who's the Mole? So we have lots of intrigue in this book. And we won't give away the ending, of course. But is this the ending?
No.
Ooh, there's more.
There's more.
But wait, there's more.
There's more. We actually have a couple more stories to tell. Actually, a continuation of this story.
Really?
Oh, yes. Because, now that this story is mostly about how they got together and they start the business, well, what happens when they start running the business and keep running the business?
So the only thing that's being given away a little bit right now is he actually makes it through. So our lead character makes it through. The
Yes.
two of them survive. So literally the message of love conquers all is very true for this story, and it goes on.
It does. It does continue. He does survive the attacks on his life and
The many
attacks on his life, and I won't tell you too much about those, but he
Right.
does survive them, so it's not depressing. And we do continue from there that when they finally do find out who has been making the attempts on his life.
And this basically is a trilogy, correct?
It does.
Okay.
It does start with this them coming together and taking over the family business. Then it continues with them running the business and kind of take a little further and maybe starting on a little changes.
Okay, I love it. He's trying to navigate how to let you know there's more without giving it away.
Without.
And that's perfect. All that needs to be known now is that indeed this is just the beginning.
It is.
Just the beginning of really quite an adventure that people get to go on with you in the book and the writer and the author, James. And so I love it because he gets to live on through this work. His comedy, his history all get to continue through this writing. And so how can people, connect with this book and be able to get a copy for themselves?
Well, we will have the books on sale. We also have an electronic version of the book. So
Good.
whether you like to have a solid feel of a book in your hand.
Yes, like I do. I'm one of those.
Some of us old-fashioned people like to actually take in the aroma
Smell
of
it.
the book,
I like
smell
to
it,
dog
enjoy
ear.
it, dog
Yeah,
ear
all
it,
that good
highlight things and share it with others, read to others. And then we also have electronic versions available too.
Beautiful, beautiful. And of course, we'll have the links to all of those on the website so that folks can connect, whether it's Amazon or Kindle, whichever way you like to read your books, we'll have that there for you. And I'm just so excited for this because there's even further excitement on the horizon, perhaps for this book. Because truly, when you think of The Sopranos and you think of The Birdcage, they were both enormously successful visual productions. One for TV and one for movie. Well, actually, even The Sopranos started with movie.
Yeah, and the story is just enormous, and it lends itself to, could be a series, could
Like
be
The Sopranos.
like The Sopranos. The characters are phenomenal, and their story can continue. There's many things that haven't happened yet that we can explore, and we can explore that maybe in the movie. Possibly a series, and of course more books.
Absolutely, and we will let you know how you can even be a part of making that happen. So we'll just say that for now, and have you stay tuned. And again, more details and information will be on the website for you. Karl, what would you say as kind of a final thought to folks who might be interested and intrigued about this book, about the message of this book, and even about the story of your relationship with James? What would be kind of final thoughts around that?
It's a universal love, a love that conquers all. It can cover, as we said earlier, hatred, bigotry. It covers abuse. There is a lot of abuse in Jim's life. And lot of hatred, and I think we find that in the world today. And this book shows you that that strong love between two people or others can really conquer anything. With the love of your life beside you, you can do anything.
Beautiful. Perfectly stated. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, Regina.
Absolutely. And thank all of you for being with us as well. We look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.